live streamed. Done. Redirected. Access to your account has been temporarily restricted. Don't you just love when that happens? Okay, well, we're live somewhere and we're just going to keep on going with it. So let me share screen and jump right into today's presentation. We just want to thank Goodwill and Easter Seals. So about 3 months ago, our book, Real Estate is Hot, Fundraising is Not, came out. We did a book launch at The Haven, which is a wonderful 60-year-old nonprofit in the Sarasota marketplace. And Don Githens, who is the president of Goodwill, Minnesota, saw this article and said, wow, our community needs to know about this. From what we understand, Goodwill right in the Minnesota area has about 200 nonprofit partners, from veteran groups to homeless shelters and soup kitchens and churches. And they want everyone to know you can get funded through gifts of real estate. You don't have to get your hands dirty. You don't have to take title. You don't have to come out of pocket any money, and there is no risk. And here's how it works, my friends. So we give this fun little warning because it's true that you can't unlearn what you're getting ready to learn. And just 3 years ago, myself, after being in real estate for 15 years and doing fundraisers with Ronald McDonald House and Make-A-Wish and nonprofits large and small, I learned about charitable gifting of real estate. And it can either be a blessing or a curse. For me, it was a blessing because I took it on full bore. I cannot listen to people talk about how they need to get funded without telling them the truth. And the truth is, gifts of real estate, donated real estate, will always be a better way to fund nonprofits than any fundraiser or grant. And you're going to learn why right now. So this is a warning. You can't unlearn what you're getting ready to learn. Now, here's a question for you. What would your nonprofit do with $550,000? Or it's actually $600,000 is the number at this point. What would your veteran group do with that? Your soup kitchen. We just did a presentation for a food pantry in Hawaii, and they said that they could create about 2 million meals with that kind of money. Now, why do we ask about that specific number? Well, because that is the average donation. It is the equity. It is the portion from real estate that on average comes from one donation. And in our book, Real Estate is Hot, Fundraising is Not, we explain exactly how this works. We'll show you at the end of the presentation how you can get the first chapter of the book for free. This book is the hand guide. This is your way of walking step by step, or key by key, as we like to say, through how the process works. Now, Dr. Russell James is the foremost authority in this field. He is a professor at Texas Tech, and he wrote the foreword for our book. Thank you, Dr. Russell James. In his own words, the numbers are clear. Transformational philanthropy comes from major assets like real estate, but numbers aren't the problem. The problem is action or inaction. The disease is inertia and fear. The cure, as per Dr. Russell James, is this book, is this system, how we help you take action to find these donations and just stay on mission and do what you were created to do. Now, average nonprofit, there's 1.5 million of them in the United States. 1.5 million. And the average nonprofit, less than a half of a percent will take real estate. If you offer them $500 cash versus a property worth $500,000, average nonprofit will say no to the real estate for a lot of great reasons. and they shouldn't take real estate. We are not advocating that you start trying to figure this out. We're advocating that you start to receive the proceeds from these gifts of real estate. So there are three overall ways that a donor can benefit a nonprofit from a gift of real estate. Now, these first two ways you can probably figure out on your own. You've probably heard of some of these ways. We're going to share about the first two ways and then the third way. It is the third way that makes this risk-free. But let's start with what we already know. Now, number one, the donor could go sell the real estate and give the proceeds to the church or the Boys and Girls Club or the veteran shelter. In other words, this is what happens most often. A generous donor says, I love my nonprofit in Washington State, and I've got a condo in Florida, and I want you, church in Washington, to get the proceeds. And the church says, you know what? Just go sell that condo and give us the proceeds. Very common, old-fashioned, outdated, right? We used to get around in horse and buggy. Now we actually have cars. Some things are just old-fashioned and shouldn't be done anymore. Why? Because the donor's paying capital gains tax. The nonprofit is receiving the least amount of the money. The donor gets the least amount of tax benefits. At the end of the day, it is the most inefficient way. Nonprofit receives the least, donor gets the least benefits, Uncle Sam gets a big portion, and it is the worst way. If anyone ever says to you, go sell your property and give us the proceeds, call us, because it's getting ready to be the worst way to do it. Now, second way is if that donor in Washington State says, you know what, here's the deed, here's the keys, there's a condo in Florida, there's a $200,000 mortgage on it, but if you pay off that mortgage, you can have the proceeds. Here's the problem. In order for the donor to get the tax incentives they want, the property has to be given to a nonprofit, and that's the tax benefit, but it has to be free and clear. Mortgages have to be paid off. If the donor wants cash, somebody's got to sign on the dotted line to pay tax and insurance. And oh boy, what if a hurricane comes through and devastates that condo? At the end of the day, here's the truth. 99.9% of nonprofits will not do it. They won't do it. It is the hardest way, because if they do try to figure it out, it takes months and months of board meetings and who's going to do what. It is painful for everyone involved. Ask any nonprofit that's ever done one. It's the hardest way. And here's the reasons why these we tell people every day this whole fun story. And when we say, did you know 99.9% of nonprofits won't take real estate? People are like, what? They won't take $1 million condo? No, they won't. Here's why. Number one, they have no expertise in real estate, nor the dedicated team to just go do it. And I actually sit on the board of a nonprofit right now. I'm being asked to sit on another board of a nonprofit. And even with the leader of the movement, even the person who wrote the book, even when they sit on the board, here's the second problem. Where's the capital going to come from? Who's going to pay off that $200,000 mortgage? I love the nonprofit whose board I sit on. I love all nonprofits, but I'm not coming out of pocket $200,000. That's a problem. They don't have the capital. And the nonprofit whose board I sit on, when we have our board meetings, we need to talk about our mission and what we're doing to help people be safer. It's a nonprofit around safety and crisis management and making sure that people are taken care of during trauma. If we were trying to figure out what realtor are we going to hire, who's going to put on the roof, who's going to sign, It diverts the mission. We need our nonprofits to stay on mission. Also, nonprofits have heard of bad experiences, lots of them very true. We've heard the stories. You know, Boy Scouts took a building 20 years ago and it almost bankrupted them. Sad stories, but friends, that's what happens when someone tries to do that which they have no clue about. Some nonprofits will accept real estate on a limited basis. Lots of community foundations around the country, if you ask them, they'll say, oh yeah, we take real estate. But if you ask them another question like, how many have you taken in the last year or two or three? Or what are your criteria? You'll find out that that real estate needs to fit in a tiny little box. It can't have a mortgage. It has to be local. Like it, very, very, very restricted. And the majority of nonprofits flat out have it written in their gift acceptance policies that they just won't take non-cash assets, especially not real estate. No, thank you. So overall, the moral of the story is it's too risky. They won't do it. When people call them, and they're calling them every day, trying to get tax deductions, trying to donate, they say no. However, here's the real reason that 1.5 million nonprofits in this country are not getting funded by an average of $600,000 a piece. The real reason is because they don't know about the third option. They don't know about the win-win-win option. So let's learn the third way, the easy way, the win-win-win way, the risk-free way, no money out of pocket way. Nonprofits don't take title. So let's talk about that nonprofit in Washington State. Generous property donor has a condo in Florida, $200,000 mortgage. See, the way that we do it is that that donor will get that mortgage paid off. They will be off the deed in less than 30 days. That property will be sold, and the nonprofit in Washington gets 95% of the proceeds. It's really as simple as that, but let me walk you through it. Risk-free, no out-of-pocket expense, capital, pay off that $200,000 mortgage or a $10 million mortgage. It could be a high-rise in New York City. It could be a ranch in Texas. It could be a strip mall in California. Somebody's got to pay off that mortgage, and we have just the specialized nonprofit to do it. It's called a bargain sale. And a bargain sale means that when property is being donated, if it is not free and clear, mortgages need to get paid off or the donor wants cash back, bargain sale. And here's what we know about the majority of the community foundations. Even when they do accept gifts of real estate, they don't if there's a mortgage on the property. So if you run into a nonprofit that says they do accept real estate, God bless, they're one of the less than a half of a percent, but it's a very small amount, and we can help them open up to any property anywhere in the world. Now, this third way, once again, the donor receives all the tax benefits in less than 30 days. Nonprofit world receives the most money, donor receives the most tax benefits, and 100%, 1.5 million nonprofits can qualify. They do qualify. Any nonprofit you love, this is the win-win-win way for everyone. This solution, our team of experts, we call them the specialized nonprofit. You'll meet them and get to know them in some videos that we're going to share with you that you can go and do your due diligence. We want you to do your due diligence. They take title and financial responsibility. There is no risk to the nonprofit world. There is no out-of-pocket expense to have these things taken care of. And there is no need to change your gift acceptance policies because you're not accepting the gifts of real estate. You are benefiting from the proceeds, which allows any and all nonprofits to benefit from gifts of real estate. So here's what it looks like. You got that property donor donating the property, condo in Florida. They donate the property to specialized nonprofit. Now, if your nonprofit helps veterans and your mission is to help veterans, if your mission is to stop human trafficking, if your mission is to stop animal abuse, this specialized nonprofit, their only mission from the time they get up in the morning to the time they go to bed is to accept gifts of real estate on behalf of any nonprofit. That's what they do. And so once they have listed and sold this property, they give real estate agents a full commission. That's important, because unlike fundraisers who get paid whether they raise funds or not, the real estate agent only gets paid to bring the nonprofit on average $600,000. So when the property sells, the nonprofit that the donor wants to have, it can be one nonprofit, it can be divvied up to 2 or 3 or 10, however the donor wants it to be dispersed, it is dispersed out, and the nonprofits receive 90 to 98%, on average 95%. Other nonprofits are doing it. 9 billion a year is already donated this way. And that's with nonprofits not even asking. That's with financial advisors figuring it out. That's with donors figuring it out. 550,000 on average, 18,000 donations a year on average. Been happening since 1917. Now, notice that we've been saying 99.9% won't take real estate. What about those that do? Just going to show you some logos here. Some you might recognize. See, every month or two, we even go in and Google donating real estate, how to donate real estate, charitable gifting of real estate. Now that you've learned about this, you will too. And you're going to see nonprofits like these. And that's why we're showing them to you, because we want you to know your donors are Googling too. And when the donor Googles and your church or your soup kitchen or your food bank doesn't come up, but Cars for Kids does, if they need a tax deduction, friends, this is the last quarter of the year. People need tax deductions. I'm going to tell you a story about that in just a minute. But let's say, for example, Cars for Kids, they take real estate now. So if a donor just needs a tax deduction, God bless, go to any one of these, all wonderful organizations. Here's the problem. Here's the trick. None of them are going to give the money to your nonprofit. They are the nonprofit. They're smart enough to already have this in play. What if your nonprofit wants to get funded? What if your donor wants you to benefit? See, that's exactly why the Real Agents of Change were created, because your donors don't know right now that you can benefit. Your donors are on other donor lists and they're learning and they're being educated. Why? Because we got a big mouth. Even during a hurricane, we are doing Zooms for people all over the country to learn how this works. And believe you me, if you wait 6 months or a year or 3 years to try to figure it out, it's going to be too late. Your donor is going to say, oh yeah, we already gave a strip mall worth $8 million to another nonprofit, because they're looking for tax deductions. They are eager to leave legacy, and they are planning their planned giving right this red hot minute. Donations of real estate come in. We do the rest. We do all of it for you. It's really rather simple. Here's our favorite case study. And this goes to show exactly how this works. So, Berkeley Humane Society, December 2021, December 15th, a gentleman calls the team. The team, the specialized nonprofit, get the call, and he says, I need a tax deduction this year. there's 16 days left in this tax year. I need a tax deduction. Can you do it? They said, yes, we can. You know why? Because they do this every day. From the time they get up, the time they go to bed. So they take title to the property so that the gentleman gets his tax deduction. And it's 12 lots. There are 12 lots of land, and it's going to take a few months for it to close. So the team calls Berkeley Humane Society and says, hey, just want you to know some real estate was donated. About $400,000 is coming your way when it gets closed. Most nonprofits aren't expecting that kind of money. So we just want you to know so you can start planning what you're going to do with the money. So they said, what? 400,000 from real estate? Never heard of such. Can we do it again? Yes, you can. So they reach out to their donors, and here's what they said. We don't know how this works. We know how to save animals. We don't know real estate. But what we do know is we now have a real estate team. And if any of you have any real estate to donate, let us know. We'll put you in touch. And lo and behold, there was a woman who said, you know, my mom left me this property. It's in a 55 and older community in Carmel, California. I am never going to live there. I'm well off. I got my home. I don't need it. I love you. I'll donate it. She did. So in August, just about 40 days ago, they got their second check for $646,000. Friends, here's the moral of the story. One nonprofit, 2 donations, 6 months, $1,052,000. That's a dramatic pause for you to really think, could that happen for my nonprofit? What if we just said to people, we don't know how it works. You know, if you go to our website and you click the donate button and you put in your Visa card, your MasterCard, your Discover card, we get money in our account. We don't know how credit card processing works either. This is real estate processing, and we can do it for you. So real estate comes from anywhere. Remember, the nonprofit is in Washington in our fun example, and the condo is in Florida. It can come from anywhere in the country, some cases anywhere in the world, any size. It could be a $200,000 house. It could be a $200 million strip mall. It doesn't matter what size it is. They are coming in $9 billion a year, any type, land, residential, commercial. You can get funded right this red hot minute with people who need a tax deduction and love you today. You can start to educate people so they start thinking about maybe next year. Or what about building a pipeline? You know, fundraisers we do, friends, car shows, golf tournaments, bake sales, and barbecues. Been there, done that. Set up many a table, sold many a ticket, but it's bucket carrying. It's going to the well and getting a bucket of water. We're talking about creating a pipeline of flowing funding. This is an example just from this past July, August, $15 million country club donated to this university. This property, $1.7 million to the Martin Luther King community. $7.5 million house, California, right now. I'm going to show you one at the very end of this presentation. I'm going to go right on the internet and I'm going to show you one that just happened a week ago that people everywhere I go, hey, have you heard about Jeff Bezos? Oh yeah, his wife just donated property to nonprofit. It's happening. This couple donated $129 million last year. All of these logos, friends, these are nonprofits that you know that have received money from real estate without having a real estate team, like without having someone on staff. Fidelity Charitables. If you think about the 1.5 million nonprofits, imagine a big pile of nonprofits. At the very top are the ones that bring in the most money. And then there's some that just bring in a few hundred million, and maybe a few that bring in a few 100,000. And on the very bottom are all the ones that just got their 501c3 designation yesterday. Right on top, like a cherry on the pie, is Fidelity Charitable, because they are the largest. They brought in 13 billion last year. Friends, they don't even do their own real estate transaction. They don't want to get out of their wheelhouse. They want to stay on their own mission. All of these universities, public radio, churches, soup kitchens, you name it, they are learning. This is the awakening that is happening. So you might be thinking, okay, I'm starting to see this. 1917, US government created something called the tax deduction. And when someone donates real estate, they pay no capital gains tax, and they can write it off their adjusted gross income. There's a lot to learn. We do something called the Charitable Real Estate Master Class. You're welcome to sit in for free. The next one is on October 4th. But you might be thinking to yourself, well, what is next? Here's what's next. Don't waste time. The puppies are hungry. Human trafficking is happening more now than ever. Churches are closing. Last week, we were out promoting this very event right in the Sarasota, Manatee, Florida marketplace. 9 out of 10 nonprofits whose doors we knocked on or wanted to knock on were closed. Alan Biles will tell you all about it, breaking his heart. Big boarded up windows. We Googled nonprofits. We're going by with a flyer in our hand, bringing them the good news, and they're closed. Nonprofits need our help, and the people that you're here to serve need us more than ever. Number 2, do your research. We want you to do your research. You need to know what we're talking about, but don't get so hung up on research. Think about it. Every nonprofit, you go to their website, they got a button, donate. You click on it, you can put in your MasterCard. At one point, there was some research done to pick the credit card processing company. They picked it, they put the button on the website, and they got back to their mission. Same thing here. The only difference is there's not a whole lot of real estate processing people to choose from. We want to help you. Go to this link. We're going to give you a ton of links here at the end where you can do your research. Number 3, communication is key. Myself, my VP, my fiance, Alan Biles, there's a whole group of us here that are thrilled to answer your questions. And that specialized nonprofit that you hear us talk about all the time, when you go to the links that we're getting ready to give you, you'll see them over and over and over, talking about case studies, raw land, commercial, residential, who donated it, why they donated, how much money went to the nonprofit world, what nonprofit got the money. The case studies, the documents, the due diligence, they're all there. Take the time to do it. Number 4, just take the funding. One of our Real Agents of Change, we call ourselves The Rock, stands for the Real Agents of Change. Sam Silver out in California got the domain justtakethefunding.com because it's so true. Your donors have real estate to donate. Just take it. Just take the funding. Number 5, do what you were created to do. Stay in your wheelhouse. Do what you do best, refer the rest. You know, we are not CPAs, we are not attorneys. We, the Real Agents of Change ourselves, are more of the marketing arm. We're more of the big mouth. We're more of the socially responsible entrepreneurs and realtors and nonprofits and financial advisors that are telling everyone about this. when it comes time to do the transaction, we know we do what we do best and we refer the rest. We refer it to our specialized nonprofit. So we want you to be able to refer the rest to the best and just keep making a difference. Now, here's some resources. This presentation is live on social media. It's being recorded, and you can send us, as a matter of fact, Alan will put in the chat or over in social media, our phone numbers and emails and ways to reach out to us, or take a picture of this screen. There's going to be about 8 lines. So, masterclass, charitable real estate masterclass. Currently, we do it on the 1st and the 3rd Tuesday of the month, 11 a.m. Eastern, live on Zoom. It's free, but it won't be free for long because we are rolling it into a package, a way for people to be seen on the website and get certified. So come while it's free, or come when you are wanting to be a charitable real estate specialist, but that is absolutely the next step to take a deep dive. The FAQS, all of these are therock.com /, and this one is FAQS, specialized nonprofit. You want to know who they are? You want to get to know them? Go there. Top 13 questions that we get asked all the time. Interview with me and with Bruce at the specialized nonprofit. Interview with me and Dr. Russell James. Lots of good stuff there. This / donations, 10 case studies, raw land, commercial, residential, property evaluation. That's where you go to see what the property donor will fill out to get in the queue to have a conversation. / chapter 1. That's where you get the first chapter of the book for free. Friends, at the very least, get the book. And in the book, each chapter is also voice recorded. So you can either read it or you can listen to it. You can get that from us, the Real Agents of Change Facebook group and LinkedIn, because we're doing a lot on LinkedIn. We got a lot of fun videos that help you to understand how this works and help you to get to know us. Now, before I totally quit sharing the screen, I want to show you this. Well, don't want to show you Skechers. I want to show you this. Go away, Skechers. Okay, New York Post. Jeff Bezos' wife donates $55 million in mansions to charity. Okay, look at the dates. This month. Look at these pictures. Does that look like a rundown, ramshackled gas station out Route 66 that somebody can't get rid of? Does it look like something that somebody's had on the market for 10 years and they couldn't get rid of it, so they just said, you know what, I think I'll just give it to charity? No, these are people who love you. They love your charity. They want to do the right thing. Look at the view. And whoever buys these properties, they will know forevermore that the $24 million they spent on this house went to charity. 2 houses, total of $55 million. And I just want to show this because people are talking. People are starting to talk about this. People are learning. Years and years ago, there was this thing called a short sale. And when I try to Google short sale, all my real estate friends will tell you, short sales. Oh my God, what a nightmare. When I first Googled short sale, the only thing that came up was Victoria's Secret was having a sale on shorts, right? I say that because this is the next wave of something. People don't know what it is, but they will. They are. Because right now, people at your work, people at the water cooler, people at Walmart, people in the office, when you say, hey, did you see that story about Jeff Bezos' ex-wife? Oh yeah, she just donated 2 houses to nonprofit. They're talking about it. Are you benefiting? Questions, comments? How can I be of service? And Alan, if you see any questions or comments in social media, Barbara Petrella is one of our favorite, we call them rock stars, RAOC, rock stars. Barbara is a commercial real estate agent with EXP out of Pennsylvania. She has done so much due diligence around this. She found another book that somebody wrote in 2006, and it's really about the second way. If a nonprofit wants to take on their own real estate, it's a brilliant book, and it teaches the hardest way to do it. We do it the easy win-win-win way, but she's doing all that research. She's met the guy called the church guy, who everybody goes to buy and sell churches. Micah and Mark are a couple of gentlemen with a company called Solveris that we are partnering with all over the country, thousands of realtors and nonprofits and insurance salespeople that are learning about what we're doing and promoting it. Grace and Alan are on our team. Nikki Dunbar has been to a couple of our classes. Bobby Smith can do financing for real estate. So people from all industries and all walks of life are learning about this. And if we don't have any questions, I'm gonna bring it to a close, because it's really easy to reach out and ask us questions about this. Our goal is to fund your goals. Our mission is to fund your mission. We want to pay real estate agents a full commission to list these donations. As the real agents of change, we are donating $1 billion a year to the nonprofit world by 2025, and then more and more, because 9 billion is turning to 29 billion a year with just a little bit of education. Mark, did you have something?
Yes, I would. Can you hear me, Cami?
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, I've been in real estate my entire life, and I'm the founder and CEO of Solveris. I've also been involved in nonprofits all my life. I did not know about, of course, I didn't know about the rock. It probably didn't exist back then, but I didn't know the opportunity was available to donate real estate. And I'm very excited to be part of the program and to help take this. I know Cami's dream is to go from 9 billion last year to 27 billion in real estate donations, and I'm proud to be part of it.
And we are proud to be partnered with you as well, Mark. And because of Mark and Micah's organization, we're actually going to be able to offer some residual income to people who are getting involved with us. We'll talk about that a lot more later. So if you're in Florida, go be safe, batten down the hatches. We're going to go out and enjoy this wind before we can't any further, because the hurricane's coming through. We just want to honor you for spending your time with us. Time, talent, and treasure. You know, the biggest treasure that we all have is time. So thank you for investing some with us today, and let us know how we can be of service. Have a great day.